You're listening to the Forbidden Brazilian Portuguese podcast, episode 7. Olá pessoal, Fernando here. Welcome to another episode. If you're a regular listener, you already know what to expect. If it's your first time here, I would recommend that you listen to episode 1, where I explain why I decided to start this series and what it's all about. As the name of this podcast suggests, it contains language that some people might find too strong or offensive, but it's all done from an educational perspective. Today we're talking about sex. In Portuguese, the word is SEXO. There's an O at the end, and the vowel O in word final position will almost always sound like U in the Brazilian Portuguese standard pronunciation. So not sexo, but sexo. To say to have sex, don't use the verb ter, which is the translation of to have. Use instead the verb fazer, which means to make, to do. So to have sex is fazer sexo. However, we do use the verb ter, to have, when we're talking about sexual relation. So to have sexual relation is ter relação sexual. The plural of relação is relações. So, ter relações sexuais, to have sexual relations. To say to make love, we need the verb fazer followed by amor. Fazer amor, to make love. Now let's have a look at some common slang that mean to have sex. The first one, and by far the most commonly used one by all Brazilians, is transar. Let's see an example. To say, did you have sex with him? Would be, você transou com ele? And transar, despite the fact that it's a slang for to have sex, it's not considered rude or vulgar. Of course, if you're talking about sex with a friend, you probably won't be talking about it in public, but it's really the go-to word when talking about sex. Fazer sexo sounds too formal. But let's have a look at 3 other slang words that mean to have sex, but are actually closer in usage to the English to fuck. And of course, we're talking about more vulgar ones here. They are still quite common in colloquial conversation among friends, so it's worth being aware of them as well, because you might hear them in films, TV series, or comedy sketches. So the first one out of these 3 ones that are considered more vulgar is trepar, which literally means to climb. The second one is comer, literally to eat, but depending on the context, it's also used as a slang for to have sex. And the last one, perhaps the closest one in meaning and usage to fuck, is the verb foder. The noun is foder. Both the noun, fodder, and the verb foder are also used in many common expressions. For example, you can say, é foda, when you want to say that something is hard to do. But in a different context, it could mean something different. If you want to comment on someone's exceptional skills, for example, if you want to say that a football player is excellent, you can say, esse jogador é foda. So when you say that something or someone is foda, it can either mean it's bad or difficult, or it can mean very good. It depends on how you say it, the intonation you use, as well as the context. Other common expressions, foda-se, which means fuck it, as in fuck it, I'm not going to do this, or fuck it, I'm going to do this anyway. Foda-se. To say fuck you, vai te fuder. So to wrap it up, the main takeaway from this episode, if I have to highlight one that will be most useful for you in your day-to-day conversation with friends, is the verb transar, when you want to refer to have sex. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you're serious about learning Brazilian Portuguese, not only swear words, I would like to invite you to check out the Fun with Brazilian Portuguese Academy membership. FWBP Academy for short. A community of learners where members can access 6 premium courses, including the Ultimate Pronunciation Guide and Everyday Brazilian Portuguese, where you will learn the real, colloquial Brazilian Portuguese that you need to be able to communicate in practical, day-to-day situations in Brazil. Members also have access to a private Facebook group, exclusive live tutorials, and the notes for this podcast series as well. Check out all the benefits of the FWBP Academy on funwithbrazilianportuguese.com/membership. Muito obrigado, até mais, tchau!